Okay. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Today, I'll be sharing all the necessary information that you need to know to drive traffic to your Messenger experience organically. My name is Amber Main, and I'm a software engineer on the Messenger business team that supports the entry points that we will be discussing today. By the end of this session, you should not only understand which entry points are at your disposal, but you'll know which entry point best fits your business's needs and how to implement them. Now let's get started. First, I'll be giving a quick overview, and then we will do a deep dive into each entry point. So, what are Messenger's entry points? Messenger supports 4 main entry points, better known as web plugins. They were all specifically designed to work on your websites, given that you already have a Facebook page and app created. Each plugin here has the same goal, to drive traffic to your experience. However, they each shine in particular use cases. So for the remainder of this session, we will explore each plugin, and I'll provide tips about how to implement them. But before I proceed, please note that the technical details and code that I will be displaying in the future slides will be available at the end in a reference. All right, so first, let me explain the difference between the Message Us plugin and m.me links. The Message Us plugin is a simple plugin that immediately drives your customers to your Messenger experience with one click. If it's clicked on desktop, it'll take your user to messenger.com. And if it's clicked on mobile, it'll take your user to the Messenger native app. Now, what makes this actually possible is Messenger's underlying short links, better known as m.me links. The Message Us plugin is simply a standard Facebook UI wrapper on top of your page's m.me link. You can use either product if this is your desired entry point type. Now, so far, I've seen that m.me links have done very well when used in widely shared content, such as ad campaigns or emails. However, the Message Us plugin seems to do really well when placed in the Contact Us section of websites for customer care. Implementing the m.me link is quite simple. All you need to do is go to the Messenger Platform tab of your page settings and look for the Your Messenger Link section. This is by far the easiest entry point type that you can do to set up your Messenger experience. If you'd prefer to use the Message Us plugin, a bit more effort is required. You'll need to include the Facebook JavaScript SDK wherever you'd like the plugin to render, and this is just a quick example of what that could look like. After you've included the Facebook JavaScript SDK, you can place the Message Us div element wherever you'd like it to render. You should make sure that your automated experience is also set up to receive webhooks so that you'll know when your customers are messaging you. You can stop here if you're satisfied. However, we do have other optional customizations that you can do to make your experience even better. Instead of going for the default white color and standard sizing, you can opt for blue and 2 other sizes. All right, now let's take a look at the second plugin, the Send to Messenger plugin. The Send to Messenger plugin basically triggers an opt-in event that is sent to your webhook so that you can easily pass data to know which user and transaction was tied to the opt-in event, and then you can link that user on your backend. Here's just a quick run-through of the standard usage of the plugin. First, you would expect your user to click on the plugin and see a pop-up to continue. Once they click Continue As, which is granting your page permission to message them later on, the pop-up will disappear and the messenger icon will change to a check mark. Once that's complete, Messenger will be able to send you a webhook event so that you can link that user on your backend and send them a message. So send to Messenger has been heavily used for sales purposes, such as sending receipts post-transaction or for shipping notifications. The plugin is also the perfect way to re-engage your customers with back-in-stock or sale alerts. Now, just like the Messages plugin, the Send to Messenger plugin requires the use of the Facebook JavaScript SDK. Now, this is the same exact script that we saw for the Messages plugin, but I'd like to note here that if you'd like to use both plugins, you'd only need to include the Facebook JavaScript SDK once. Now, in addition to including the Facebook JavaScript SDK, you need to make sure that you have the domains where you'd like the plugin to render whitelisted. You can do so in two ways. The first would be to go to the Messenger Platform tab of Page Settings and look for the General Settings section. The second option is to make a post request to the Messenger Profile API. Finally, you'll need to make sure that your app is subscribed to your page and that you have a webhook endpoint configured. You can do so by going to the Messenger settings area at developers.facebook.com. Now, it's a very common pitfall for developers to forget to do this, but if you do not proceed with this, your plugin will not render. Now, after ensuring that all three items are complete, you can go ahead and include the div element shown here and expect the plugin to render successfully. You can also include a reference parameter here so that you can pass information to your backend to know exactly which web view your click came from. If you'd like to customize the plugin, you can do so using the same colors and sizing options that the Messages plugin provides. However, you also have the option to use a predefined set of call to action texts, such as keep me updated or subscribe to updates, to better fit the context of your web view. The Send to Messenger plugin provides the option to subscribe to client events so that you could trigger other events as well. So when a user clicks the Send to Messenger plugin, you should be expecting the messaging opt-ins webhook event in particular. So you'll need to make sure that you're configured to handle this event. It'll be provided in the format shown, and you should expect to see a user ID in the webhook event. You can then take this user ID and use it in Messenger Send API to send a message to your user immediately, but you need to make sure that you stay within Messenger Platform's policy, of course. All right, so the next plugin I'm going to discuss is the Checkbox plugin. It's pretty similar to the Send to Messenger plugin, so you'll see some crossover. The Checkbox plugin triggers an opt-in event just like the Send to Messenger plugin. The real difference here is that the Checkbox plugin is optimized for a forms use case. I'll explain what that means in the next few slides. So because the Checkbox plugin and Send to Messenger plugin are so similar, their use cases are pretty transferable. However, I'd like to call out for the Checkbox plugin that it's done pretty well in sales for coupon distribution. I've seen a lot of businesses place the Checkbox plugin in like their new customer modal, and they'll use the opt-in event from that modal to send a coupon to their customers directly rather than sending it to their customer's email. The installation for the Checkbox plugin and Send to Messenger plugin will also require the Facebook JavaScript SDK. Then you'll need to whitelist the domain where you'd like it to render using the same methods we mentioned earlier. And then again, make sure that your webhook endpoint is configured properly. After steps 1 through 3 are complete, you can go ahead and include the div element. It's important here that the user ref attribute that you use is a unique string upon each render. If this is not done, the plugin will not render for you. Now, just like the other plugins, the Checkbox plugin allows you to do some customizations, such as sizing and theming. You can also choose if you'd like to display it to only Facebook or logged-in Facebook users. Now, when rendering the plugin, it's also very important that you provide a very clear opt-in text above it so that your users are well informed, and it will also help keep your page's block rate low. you can subscribe to client events for the Checkbox plugin so that you understand when the plugin state changes as well. Now here is where the Checkbox plugin really differs from the Send to Messenger plugin. Instead of immediately sending you a webhook event when the user checks the checkbox, you have the power to determine when that webhook is sent. Meaning, you can decide that a confirm button or a submit button is the trigger that you'd like to use to receive the opt-in webhook event by logging the Messenger checkbox user confirmation on the client, like this example. There are also a couple of other things I'd like you to note here. The first is that you can choose to pass a reference parameter so that you understand the context from which the Checkbox plugin came from. And you'll also need to make sure that the Checkbox plugin is checked before you send this event, or else you will not receive the webhook event on your end. The webhook payload is also very similar to Send to Messenger. The key difference here is that instead of a user ID, like the Send to Messenger plugin provides, you'll be looking for the user reference attribute. This is the same user reference attribute that you set when including the div element at the beginning. You can then use that user reference attribute to send your customer a message using Messenger Send API. All right, so finally, we'll be discussing the Customer Chat plugin. The Customer Chat plugin is a product that allows you to directly interact with your customers with your Messenger experience on your website. It always appears in the bottom right-hand corner, and the text shown here can be easily hidden so that only the Messenger icon is displayed. Naturally, Customer Chat has succeeded in sales since agents can assist you with your customers' product questions as they browse on your site directly. I have also seen the plugin do well when placed on Contact Us or FAQ pages to help answer any additional questions that those pages do not cover. Now, you have a lot of different options to set up the Customer Chat plugin. The one displayed here can be found on the Messenger Platform tab of Page Settings. This setup tool will walk you through the basic process to set up the plugin, and then it will generate the code for you to either implement it directly, or you can send an email to other developers to include it for you. If you have a WordPress website, we have the Messenger Customer Chat plugin, which is also another setup tool. However, for this one, you won't need to include the code directly on the site. It'll just insert it for you. Alternatively, you can use Facebook's Business Extension tool, which can be found on several e-commerce platforms, such as WooCommerce, Magento, and OpenCart. This tool will also allow you to directly insert the Customer Chat plugin without any coding necessary. If you prefer to manually include the Customer Chat plugin, you'll need to include the Customer Chat SDK. Now, this SDK encompasses the Facebook JavaScript SDK that we spoke about earlier. However, it also includes some extra customer chat functions that will allow you to dynamically trigger the plugin. With the Customer Chat SDK, you can easily show or hide the plugin, as well as update the greeting text and ref attribute for the plugin. Customer Chat will also require that you whitelist the domains wherever you'd like it to render. And just a reminder, you can do that at the Messenger Platforms tab in Page Settings or with the Messenger Profile API. Now, once those steps are complete, you can finally include the Customer Chat div element wherever you'd like it to render. Note here that the Customer Chat plugin also supports a reference parameter, so you know exactly which web view the Customer Chat plugin is coming from. Customer Chat offers a wide array of customizations that you can do to control the theme coloring to match your brand, special greeting text to match the page where it renders, as well as ways to control the display behavior. If you'd like to use these customization options, I suggest that you include the plugin directly and you forego the previous setup tools mentioned earlier. It's also highly encouraged that you have a webhook endpoint set up for Customer Chat plugin for a better overall user experience here. If you set up the endpoint to handle the messaging postbacks or messaging referrals events, you will see that there's a source property for the Customer Chat plugin, so you can determine exactly where the inbound messages came from, such as coming from web versus the Customer Chat plugin. Now, I know that was a lot of information to take in, so we'll just quickly run through the key highlights of the plugins. The Message Us plugin is a great way to directly engage with your customers on Messenger with one simple click. The Send to Messenger plugin is the perfect way to start a conversation with a customer without immediately redirecting them to Messenger. The Checkbox plugin is a fabulous way to start a conversation with your customer following a predefined action on your page. And then we have the Customer Chat plugin, which is the best way to start an immediate conversation on Messenger without leaving your website. Now, here are the slides that I promised you for the references. You can find detailed instructions about how to set up each plugin by visiting our developer documentation at developers.facebook.com. Make sure you look for the Messenger platform documentation. If you'd like additional support, you can also join our Facebook group where real Facebook employees and other developers can help address any particular problems that you have while implementing these plugins. All right, so thank you all so much for coming. It was a pleasure giving you this talk. I hope you enjoy the rest of the conference, and if you have any more questions, I'll be at the Messenger booth for the rest of the afternoon.